So with that, I would like to introduce Tamiko Fletcher. She is the Chief Information Security Officer at NASA Kennedy Space Center. And I'm gonna read off her bio, it's very impressive. She's Kennedy Space Center's CISO and Chief of the Kennedy IT Security Office. She's a graduate of the University of South Carolina, where she received a BS in Computer Engineering, and the University of Miami, where she received her master's in Industrial Engineering. As CISO, she's responsible for minimizing Kennedy's IT security risk, obtaining visibility into IT security operations, and providing guidance for compliance with NASA's IT security standards and federal regulations. Prior to her selection as Kennedy CISO, Ms. Fletcher served as the center's deputy CISO for operations in the lead of the IT security vulnerability management team. And there she focused on center IT security compliance, ensuring systems connected to the Kennedy network operated at the appropriate security posture, and she protected NASA information and information systems. She held the role of, whoops, sorry, did I do that? I'm sorry. All right. Where was I? Okay. She also held the role of contracting officer's technical representative for NASA's outsourcing desktop initiative, and that was between NASA and Lockheed Martin. And it was a $41 million contract, and that was budgeted to provide desktop and communication support for approximately 6,000 users at Kennedy. She participates in various community service activities around Central Florida. She's mentored young ladies through Tomorrow's Investment Matters, a grassroots nonprofit organization that serves the Central Florida area. And she's also a member of the Society of Women Engineers Central Florida section and the National Society of Black Engineers Central Florida Professionals. And that's where she previously served on its executive board and chamber president. I had the pleasure of meeting Tamiko actually several years ago before COVID. And she was mentoring some young girls. She was very inspirational, and she's with us remotely today. So she's just going to share a few words with her. And certainly I told her at next event, we need to have her here on site and give her a longer amount of time to speak. So with that, I'd like to introduce Tamiko Fletcher to you.
Thank you, Dr. Seiler. How are you all doing today? I won't be before you long, and I certainly wish that I was there in person to speak with each of you during the breaks and during your time to collaborate. So thank you to all the professionals at CareerSource and the partners at the Department of Education. It's certainly an honor to speak with you all during National Apprenticeship Week. Certainly I hadn't heard of that until I spoke with Dr. Seiler about it and having this opportunity. So it's quite interesting how life will come full circle, as you'll hear. If not coming to NASA Kennedy Space Center almost 23 years ago, yes, almost 23 years ago, even I can't believe that it's been that long that I've been working here in what may be considered an apprenticeship program called the Student Cooperative Education Program, I probably wouldn't be here with you all today. I am the daughter of an educator who picked cotton to help her family in rural South Carolina, and my mother was the only one of 10 siblings to obtain a bachelor's degree. And she enforced how important having an education, or even a trade, as she would say, could impact one's life. I am from a small town in South Carolina called Manning, South Carolina. It's so small. It's where farming and agriculture is a primary career field. And exploration for me was amongst the dirt roads and cornfields and family backyards. And using our imagination was how my cousins and I often entertain ourselves in our adolescent years. So now I get to do the imaginable with NASA Kennedy Space Center and help us go back to the moon and then to Mars. Did you guys see that beautiful launch the other day? It was gorgeous, lighting up the sky in the morning, early morning, to try to go to the moon, back to the moon, and then to Mars. It was beautiful. So I hope you all, if you didn't get to see it in person from your front yards or from your backyards, that you saw it online. It was just gorgeous. But all of that started with a cooperative education in the summer of '99 as a soon-to-be computer engineer working with network engineers at Kennedy Space Center, where I created my own network and cybersecurity lab to detect hackers, try to sniff and steal passwords, right? So those engineers showed me how to apply what I learned in the classroom and even showed me some techniques that only come from being on the job. It was a great experience. and reflecting back on graduating with my degree and what I learned in the classroom at the University of South Carolina. Go Gamecocks. Always got to do a plug for the Gamecocks, even though Florida clamored us the other day for the football game, but I always got to shout out my Gamecocks. I could never imagine or compare that time for co-oping or interning, or in you all's terms, an apprenticeship. That experience helped me to see myself in not just a job, but in a career and one at NASA. To think that this little girl, this little Black girl, a now young Black woman from Manning, South Carolina, is working for NASA. You know, NASA, I am always amazed by being able to say that to those who I meet. In fact, my mentor from that co-op program eventually became my employee when I took on the role as KSC's Chief Information Security Officer. I became a supervisor, and life certainly again comes full circle. He always expressed how proud he was to having a part in my burgeoning career and being able to have a front row seat to witness it. And that's what you all are doing in this industry and with your partners in education. You are connecting people with a way to see themselves beyond. You're creating possibilities. It's the possibility of having a career, not just a job, or a better understanding of a career field where many may have an interest. In whichever industry they choose. I saw some of your sponsors as electricians or plumbers. Those opportunities are vast as well. And in the cyber industry, that could be one of the projected 3.5 million job openings by 2025, or an occupation in STEM where careers are projected to grow over 2 times faster than the total of all careers in the next 7 years. That's an expected growth of about 8% by 2029. So you see the need. And you see the need to build that pipeline and how coming to an apprenticeship program could help. My participation in that cooperative education program gave me the skills I need to be a better student back at school and a member of the global community. That apprenticeship, or in my case, the co-op program, allowed me to grow in ways I never thought imaginable. It helped me to better work in teams. It helped me, excuse me, to take initiative at working at school. It opened my view on diversity and culture, generationally and ethnically. I mean, where could a 19-year-old student become personal with, adults who'd had 20 plus years and participate in potlucks and all kind of things that I wouldn't do if I had not had that experience. And it also forced me to work on my oral communication, which was certainly much needed back then. I've gotten a little bit better. Still get nervous when I do these things, but I've gotten better. And I accredited that to my apprenticeship experience. I presented my summer project to more people than I would have ever presented in my years at college. And bonus, by that experience, I was able to buy my first desktop computer. I'm always proud of that moment with my own money, which I'm sure my mother was certainly happy about. And so I implore you, in the words of Mae Jemison, the first Black American woman astronaut in space, what we find is that if you have a goal that is very, very far out and you approach it in little steps, you start to get there faster. You open your minds up to the possibility. And you all have a goal of making Florida the leader in apprenticeships by 2030. And that can be done. The possibility of making that as a reality is in this room and through you all and through your conversations, through strategizing with your fellow colleagues. And whether you're in healthcare, medical, automotive space, an entrepreneur, or you're an engineer in the discipline of a STEM, you are connecting traditional or non-traditional students. You're connecting people back into the workforce. You're changing someone who may be changing their job, someone maybe with a disability needing work. You have the potential to connect that person with what is possible. You really have the potential to connect that person with their wildest dreams. And I'm sure that possibility is in this room and it is endless. Take it from myself, who certainly was impacted by having an experience that's similar to an apprenticeship. If not for that, again, I would not be here speaking to you all today. I would not be here as the Chief Information Security Officer. And so I've always made sure that I have these conversations, not only, as Dr. Saller said, with students, but even with adults, because sometimes it is challenging to see the younger, or I would say the younger generation, come up into the ranks. And so I, again, implore you all to take this opportunity to learn from each other and take this opportunity to grow through the job creation that you can do for our state, also for our country. And that's really all I have for you all today. I appreciate this opportunity. I told Dr. Seiler I wouldn't be before you all long at all, but I was honored to have this opportunity to encourage you all, to motivate you all to take the responsibility you have in the apprenticeship arena very seriously, because in cyber, we need the workforce. That is becoming our next battlefield, is in the cyber area. And so with the pipeline that you all are creating for us, we can certainly conquer that. And so with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Seiler. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tamiko. You're always inspirational. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Take care.